We'll come back to him if we need to. So
the man in the eye of the storm insists his suspension is illegal and is quick to add that he has been uncomfortable with the interference of the Ministry of Finance in the internal processes of the SEC.
So I now address the two aspects which are all linked to my suspension. And one of them is, like I said, the interference of the Ministry of Finance in the internal processes of SEC. It has never happened in the history of the Securities and Exchange Commission. The SEC received a petition from Alhaji Mangal and Ansbury, and we set up a committee to review the investigation. And they spent 4 months. And their report was forwarded to a standing committee comprising some of the most senior staff of SEC. And they also reviewed the submissions and came up with a lot of findings, about 120-something page document. And some of the findings, they said, relates to insider dealing, relates to related party transactions, and so on and so forth. Based on that, they also recommended that there's a need to undertake a forensic audit on Owando PLC. And I approved that recommendation. The next day, on the 18th of October, we directed that the shares of Owando should be put on technical suspension, largely to protect the interests of the minority shareholders. We also informed the public that a forensic audit will be undertaken on Owando. The following day, 19th of October, the Honorable Minister of Finance invited me to her office and queried the power that I had to carry on the investigation. And I explained to her that the law has given me the power to do the investigation. And she said, DG, I want this Owando issue to be concluded. And I said, that's fine, Honorable Minister. And I swear to God, the minister said I should stop the forensic audit on Owando. And I should constitute a committee comprising the head of legal of SEC, head of legal of Ministry of Finance, and head of legal of Owando. I want it to be on record that as a regulator, I do not have any political platform. And as such, black, white, religious or secular, rich and poor, man and woman, disabled and able are all equal in my eye and should be treated fairly. I therefore view my office as a mission and not a job. And I believe there are two choices before us in this country. The first choice is investigation on Owando to be carried out and the integrity of SEC and the Nigerian capital market will be maintained.
One of the recommendations given by the panel of inquiry that looked into the allegations of financial impropriety by the suspended DG had suggested that Mr. Gwarzo refunds the sum of 104.85 million naira, which he allegedly approved and received as severance package while still in office. The panel also recommended that Gwarzo be referred to the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission for further investigation of the allegation of using its position as SECDG to influence the award of contracts to Outbound Investments Limited.
On the payment of severance package of my involvement in Outbound and Medusa Investment. On payment of severance package, the board extract of 2002, 11 years before I joined SEC as a commissioner, clearly states what benefits accrue to the Director General. It clearly says if you are a Director General and you spend a minimum of 2 years in your first term and you leave office, these are your benefits. If you are a Director General and you are on your second term and you spend a minimum of 2 years, these are your benefits. And if you are a permanent commissioner and you spend 2 years, these are your benefits. Now, very important thing that I want us to note, on the permanent commissioner, which concerns me, it says that for the permanent commissioner, it says a permanent commissioner who has spent a minimum of 2 years is entitled to the following: 2 years. I was appointed commissioner on the 9th of January 2013. And I was appointed DG of SEC on the 20th of May 2015, which means I spent 2 years and 5 months as commissioner. And the extra says if you have spent a minimum of 2 years. Secondly, I went through the entire gamut of processes for appointment of DG, which even if somebody is coming from outside, he would have gone through that process. More so, the extra says a permanent commissioner has spent a minimum of 2 years. 2 years is entitled to this benefit. So the question is, have I spent 2 years as a commissioner or not? And the answer is yes. Now, there's an argument on an opinion expressed by the acting head of legal as at that time, Mrs. Franham. And clearly, in our opinion, she based her views based on the memo from the board, from the board secretary to the board. Because the board extract clearly states the decision of the board. If you are going to analyze an extra, you analyze from where it says the board hereby approves. But more so, and more importantly, the acting head of legal and enforcement at that time, Mr. Eric Elijoko, who was her boss at the office, and also her senior professionally, disagree with her recommendation and recommended for the payment of the severance package.
I want the suspended DG to explain to us the provision of the House rule that allows this payment. If you are a commissioner within the establishment and you were now appointed a DG, I liken that to somebody who was a GM in a bank, now appointed ED or MD. Is the payment meant for people that actually leave the organization, or for just anybody like yourself transforming to a DG? Did you actually leave the organization? Let us justify this payment from that angle.
Why should the severance package go to minister or board for approval? It has never happened. Check the records for the last 10 commissioners and DGs that we have had. None of their severance package went to the board. So why my own? Why is it an issue of mine? Once the board has already said, if you leave office, these are your benefits. Once it terminates, the approval kicks in. The same person that approved my own severance package is the same person that approved the severance package of the former DG, Mrs. Aruma Ote.
Thank you, Mr. Monero, please.